Welcome to the Wireless LAN News Desk on August 17th, 2018. My name is Tom Carpenter. I'm the CTO at CWNP, and this week in the news, just a couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, recently on the news desk and in a webinar, I talked about the new Wi-Fi certified EasyMesh. Wi-Fi certified EasyMesh is a Wi-Fi certification that allows for the implementation of mesh networks based on 802.11. And I found it interesting that this week there was an announcement that ARRIS launched a new Mesh AP that is Wi-Fi EasyMesh certified. This particular access point, the VAP 4641, is an 802.11 AC Wave 2 with 4x4 in 5 GHz and 2x2 in 2.4 GHz. And the key thing is it's Wi-Fi certified EasyMesh. If we take a look at the actual specification sheet or data sheet for the VAP 4641, they call it a Wi-Fi extender because of its EasyMesh capabilities that are built in. And so this happens to be a device that is wall pluggable and can be placed on a desktop, a shelf, or something like that. It's really targeted at in-home use, and we'll see that in a moment. It's 4x4, as I said, in 5 GHz and 2x2 in 2.4 GHz. But notice it's ARRIS Home Assure enabled for whole home Wi-Fi coverage and performance. So one of the major target markets with this device is your internet providers. So your internet service providers can place this in a home in order to get whole home Wi-Fi, which we've talked about before in the news desk. You'll notice that it is Wi-Fi certified EasyMesh capable. And so this allows it to build the mesh using a standard method of building the mesh instead of some proprietary vendor technology. You can see that it supports 4 spatial streams and of course 5 GHz as it's 4x4. It's only going to support 2 spatial streams on the 802.11n radio and 2.4 GHz. It has support for 11E, K, V, and R, and it's bragging about high power transmit for maximum coverage. Okay, in whole home, maybe that's beneficial. Not that beneficial if this were to be used in a type of business setting. We generally don't want high transmit power in most cases from our APs anyway. It does have implicit and explicit dynamic digital beamforming. And of course, ARRIS purchased Ruckus, so they have access to a lot of those technologies. We have support for WPA2, WPA, and sadly still WEP in the device. I'm not sure why they would bother to include that in there, other than wanting to support some really old devices people might have in their home. But it can be an EasyMesh network controller, as well as implementing and being part of the EasyMesh network. It's a gigabit Ethernet port, so plenty of speed there for our wireless networks today, particularly in home environments. So as you can see, this particular device implementing EasyMesh. Here's the EasyMesh technology overview that we looked at previously in a Wireless LAN News Desk that was released in May of 2018. And again, the focus is on in a large home or any other environment that wants to take advantage of this, you can have multiple APs participating in the EasyMesh network. Now, this is actually based on the Wi-Fi Alliance multi-AP technical specification, which itself is also based on the 802.11 Mesh BSS or MBSS, as well as some extra capabilities the Wi-Fi Alliance has put in there. So again, as I said before in the news desk, don't confuse EasyMesh with a specification. So EasyMesh is the certification based on the multi-AP technical specification, both of which are available. You can download the documents from the Wi-Fi Alliance website. Now, the other thing I want to talk about briefly in the news desk today is the news that has come out at several websites reporting research that was reported at the IEEE Conference on Communications and Network Security on Cybersecurity in 2018. This paper was receiving the Best Paper Award. So this paper received the Best Paper Award at that conference here in 2018. And what's it all about? It's about using Wi-Fi to detect weapons, bombs, other things like this that could be inside of bags. So what they're actually doing is they're taking advantage of the fact that antennas will receive a different signal if they transmit toward a device that's metal than if they transmit toward a device that's just cloth. And so they're able to detect in bags the different things that might be in there, metal objects versus liquid objects and so forth. And so the receiving antennas are going to get a stronger signal, for example, if it's reflected back. They're going to get a weaker signal if some of it's absorbed before it's reflected. And algorithmically, they can then determine the kind of material that might be inside of that bag. Now, it's interesting to note that there were success rates of 99% recognizing dangerous objects, 98% for metal and 95% for liquids. Now, if the objects are wrapped before placed inside the bag, the accuracy dropped to about 90%, but obviously with further analysis and algorithms, that could even be improved upon. And they also found it was different depending on whether it was in a backpack or a suitcase or something like that. So I find this very interesting, a very creative use of Wi-Fi to, instead of having to rely on CT scanners alone and going through special equipment, you could potentially, at some future stage with this concept, have a layer that runs over your Wi-Fi network to actually be able to detect with certain levels of likelihood things that might be moving throughout that environment, which could be phenomenal. So the future potential of this is really, really big for security in public venues. It'll be interesting to see where it goes and what kind of solutions might come out of this, but I thought I'd let you know that the research has been done and has had some success, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes in the future. Well, that's all I have for the Wireless LAN News Desk today. Let me remind you, if you have not done so already, you'll want to go to conferences.cwnp.com in order to learn about and register for the Wi-Fi Trek Conference coming up this October in San Diego, California. I hope to see you there, and I'll see you again next week on the Wireless LAN News Desk.